Pamela's husband offered her mother to babysit their son for a few weeks while they were busy at work. She readily accepted the offer as she was tired of living alone in her small apartment. Her husband had passed away over 7 years ago, and it had been impossible to start a new relationship. Amanda was attractive, fit, with a slender build and attractive facial features. She could easily outshine many young women. Despite her desire for a serious relationship, the men she had encountered so far were no match for her. When Anthony stopped by to pick up his mother-in-law that afternoon, he was pleasantly surprised by her good physical shape. In addition, she proved to be an interesting conversationalist. As a result, she made a positive impression on her son-in-law, although he was wary of her at first. At first, Amanda interfered in their relationship with her advice in moralizing and caused him irritation. And he did not want to see a stranger in the house, even if it was his wife's mother. His wife greeted her mother warmly, embraced her tenderly, and led her into the hallway to change her clothes. She herself, meanwhile, went to check on the baby in the bedroom. Anthony took the opportunity to quietly sneak into the room where Amanda was changing. He tried to move in complete silence, but unfortunately, the sound of his footsteps and the creaking of the floor broke the necessary silence. Despite his attempts to calm himself, the excessive excitement was causing heavy breathing and a rapid heartbeat. He was only a few meters away from the cherished door. God, I'm as nervous as a schoolboy peeking at his classmates' underwear on the landing. And now he's one step away from the door. Fortunately, the door opened easily and quietly. As he entered, his mother-in-law stood before him. It was truly an amazing sight. When Anthony heard the noise from the bedroom, he hurried into the bathroom before closing the door behind him. Pamela came out of the baby's room and approached her mother. "At least close the door. You're changing your clothes," she reprimanded. "And there's the husband walking around." "And I was closing it. Maybe I forgot. You know, I'm not old enough to remember everything." Although my mother-in-law was 100% sure that she had closed the door. At such times, she was especially attentive when there were strangers in the apartment. Afterward, Pamela invited the mom into the baby's room. She showed how to take care of her son, where the things were, explained everything in detail so that the child would receive good care. And just in case, she wrote down everything in a notebook so that the mother did not forget anything, as in the case of the door. "What a beautiful boy you have." "Yes, he's beautiful. Please be careful with him." "I will." "Don't worry, we'll make everything perfect." "Let's have dinner, and then my husband and I have to go to work on the night shift. You'll always be there for your son. There's your bed over there. And make sure the cat doesn't molest the baby, because she's very playful and active." "Okay, I got it. You don't have to worry." Cats, I also love and know how to cope with them. At the table, Anthony looked a little at his mother-in-law, especially at her shoulders. Amanda didn't seem to notice his son-in-law's gaze, but in fact she saw everything perfectly. For so many years without male warmth, she caught every male gaze. To take action, of course, she was not going to do anything, expecting the man to make the first move. Although she understood perfectly well that her son-in-law was married and, as it seemed to her, loved her daughter. Therefore, nothing could have happened. But she didn't know how much her son-in-law was suffering now. After eating dinner, Pamela and her husband began to get ready for work. She was adjusting herself to the working condition. Her husband could not think about any work. In his imagination, constantly popped up tantalizing images of his mother-in-law from the bedroom while changing clothes. Anthony put his hand on his wife's legs, but she took it aside, citing a bad mood. "Again, you are not ready for tenderness. When will you already fulfill your conjugal duty?" "I can't tell you exactly. I'm not a robot. As long as I come in exhausted after work, I lack energy." "Let's do something about it. I can't take it that long either. I've got to go somewhere to release the tension. What do you suggest?" "I don't know. I have to think of something. I'm on edge." The next day, Pamela went to work, leaving her mother-in-law, son-in-law, and son and cat at home. The spouse did not want to sleep long, despite the night shift, and went to the bedroom. Pretending to play with his son, he himself looked at his mother-in-law, dressed in his wife's robe. Everything was going in the right direction. Even the robe suggested that it was time to act. He approached his mother-in-law from behind and put his hands on her shoulders. "You frightened me." "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." "What are you doing?" "I'm telling my daughter." "Oh, come on. You're not going to tell her anything. Just relax and enjoy yourself." The woman's emotions were overwhelming. Amanda couldn't resist the man's touch and closed her eyes. The huge pause in the relationship was making itself felt. "Oh my God, how delightful this is. And what did I tell you?" George, cuddling his favorite toy, was sleeping peacefully in his crib, and the fluffy cat was lounging on the armchair. The joyful mother-in-law and her son-in-law were playing, at this moment, in the next room. "So you were the one who spied on me the day I arrived?" Pamela noticed that the door to my room was open while I was changing, but I remember closing it. "Yes, that was me." "And what did you tell her?" "That I probably forgot. It's my age." "Well, at your age, looking so good and being so active, it's a skill." "Thanks, we've got at least half a day to spare." "Let's take a break. I need to feed your son. And judging by the smell, I need to change his diaper." Amanda put on her robe and with a beautiful gait went to get the baby food. Anthony looked at this beauty and did not regret what had happened today. Remembering his wife, he thought, "I should have listened when I asked." You can't deny a man in bed, otherwise he will do something bad without wanting to. Life doesn't always